Hey guys, Lencac here again. In today's episode on M1A Rehabilitation, as you can see, I got in the last episode you saw the getting the barrel installed on it and lapping the bolt into the receiver. And today what we're going to do is we're going to go through sizing the chamber and polishing it and getting it down to the final size that I want. And so that's where we're going today. So without further ado, let's get after it. Okay, I'm going to head into sizing this chamber. I've got my rifle set up in the vise here, or the barreled receiver in the vise. And I got my tool here. This is my extension. And that has to be fed through the barrel and then have the reamer attached to it. And then we're going to start to work it. Use some cutting oil with it. But let's take and put this. Got to be careful because that's a steel rod right there. You don't want to nick the lands. Okay. And now we'll take. All right. Okay, I'm going to get the bushing. This bushing is a very precisely made bushing to, theoretically, it's supposed to actually make the chamber to size, but I won't trust it until I actually see, put some cutting oil on until I actually see the headspace gauge and how it. And then what I got here is I got myself a tool to put on the end of it. We're going to put the bolt in. Okay. And now what I want to do, I'm going to turn this. I'm going to put a little rearward pressure on this. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Is it taking any material? Felt like it was. Okay. Take you out, take a look at you. See if it is taking any material yet. Looks like it may be. It feels like it is. Okay. Oh yeah, it's coming pretty close right there. All right. Okay, let's see. All right, I think I'm going to pull it out, pull it off, pull it out, put the headspace gauge in, see where it sits. Okay. All right, guys. You saw how I was using the cutting tool. How I was using this cutting tool to size the chamber. I think I got it. Just so you know, this is a very expensive tool. This is about $250 right here. But at any rate, I got it to where how it's supposed to work is you put this in, and it's got a specific bushing that goes with it, and you pull it through and you start turn it like I showed you with the bolt, put a little pressure on the bolt, and you're supposed to cut it just until the bolt goes closed on this, which it did, but it still shows a little bit small according to my go gauge, which I'm going to show you right here. But I think, if you look, can you see that? It's almost, but not quite. It's almost closed. I want to keep this chamber a little bit on the tighter side, obviously. And so we're almost, so what I think I'm going to do here is, well, first let's take, and of course I wanted to check around. This is a surplus rounds, and it should go closed on that, and it does. See, but I can feel that it's right there. It's right there. I feel nothing, no slop in it at all. So it's, and then I got a one of my sized cases here that I just sized and prepped and all that. I want to put it in, and as you see, it likewise just goes in, because they both have the same the base datum measurement on them, so I didn't expect anything different actually. But what I think I'm going to do now is to get this to its final finish place is I'm going to take, because I want to take and polish the chamber out, but I'm going to polish the chamber out to get my final fitting on it. And of course this is the no-go gauge. This is the 1.640 one, and of course obviously if I put the no-go gauge in it, it's not going to even come close to closing, so that's good. So I know this chamber right now is on the very tight side, maybe just a tiny bit too tight, but I think I'm going to use that little bit extra to take it up with polishing the chamber. So there you go. Next thing I'll do is I'll get set up so I can do the way I polish these things. All right, this is how I'm going to go about polishing the chamber. I've mixed up another batch of grease, and this is some 600. This is some, I'm going to smear it. I got this is a flexible steel cable that I've attached to my drill, and I'm going to take it and put it in the chamber, spin it up with this 600 grit. Push it in. See how that looks so far. Okay, let's put a little more on it. I have a feeling it's going to take a little bit more than that. Okay. Now the tedious part of this whole thing is that when I do a little of that, I got to go and clean the chamber out now, and then put the no-go gauge or the go gauge in it and see where we're at. So this is might take a little bit of a while to get this right, but that's basically how I'm going about doing this. So when I get this thing to where I want, I will get back to you. All right. All right, you all saw how I went about polishing out the chamber a little bit. And like I said before I did that, the chamber was still a tiny bit tight, but I figured I would use the polishing process to get the final finish on the chamber to the right size. And so here's how that all came out. And this is the go gauge. This is the one that is 1.6330. And put it in there, and as you can see, it just goes closed. It just goes closed on that. It's still, I can still feel it just a tiny bit. It just comes right, gets tight right as it gets to the all the way in. which tells me that that is that chamber is on the tight side of the spec. And of course, being that that is tight on that side, if I put the no-go gauge in it, I'm sure it won't even see, it won't even come, it doesn't even get close to going into battery. But, and then of course the other test is, now this, once again, this is a surplus round, and it should go closed easily on a surplus round, and it does. See that goes all the way, that seats all the way in. So I think, guys, I think we have got a chamber that is of the right size on the tight side, which is good. And yeah, and of course now the next step I got to do is, which is something I don't really like doing. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but that's putting the op rod guide on the barrel, because it has to be pressed on. It's a press fit, so I usually go about doing stuff like heating the ring. That's what this guy is. That is what this guy is here. This is your op rod guide, and this will slide onto the barrel, and then your op rod goes through there. And then of course we got a cutout here that I have to line up for the spring roll pin. And then it obviously, once I get it, it obviously has to be indexed somewhat like the barrel, so that the op rod is in full alignment with the gas cylinder. If I've seen some where the gas cylinders were a bit off, or I mean where the op rod guide was a bit off a center line from the gas cylinder, because this op rod guide was not exactly where it needed to be. And that's one of those things, once you get it all on, you put it together, you see where you're at, and if it needs to be tweaked a little bit, you can put I just put a wrench over it and just kind of tweak it a little bit. But that's my next chore here, is to put the op rod guide on it. But so far so good, guys. And so that'll be the next step we're going to do, guys. So this is Lencac over and out.